Philip to Evelyn, Saturday, May 8th, 6:30 p.m. My sweet, right off the bat, I must beg forgiveness for failing to send Mother's Day cards to you and Mom and your mom. If I thought for a minute last week that I wouldn't have time enough this week to as much as go to the PX to shop for them, I'd have done it then. But how could I have foretold what happened? After supper today, I dashed over to the PX to get the cards, only to find that they had sold out days ago. I know, sweetheart, what a kick you get out of these things, just as do the two moms, so I can easily guess how disappointed you'll be that the thoughtless Phil couldn't manage to get 3 cards into the mail. Believe me, I'm sorry. Still, you all know how Phil feels about his moms without having to be reminded by cards that express sentiments that someone else wrote. So, page 2, the only damage done was to your collective feelings and my reputation. Honestly, baby, I'm so dizzy from typing, I feel like I'm about to drop. It's an effort for me to concentrate, too, so I had to take tonight off, although I was supposed to work, in order to give my poor little head a rest. I typed about 10 more insurance applications forms and a family allotment, which is a good day's work for anybody. Your very sweet Thursday letter arrived this morning, and I read it through 3 times before I could tear myself away to go to lunch. Baby, when you talk about wanting me, I feel like throwing everything overboard and rushing to you. The mere thought of being needed at home does funny things to my insides. I don't think I ever wanted you more, Chippy, than I do right now. Better get off the subject before I go nuts. Page 3. I thought it was mighty good of you, sweet, that you were considerate enough to go to Lil in her time of need. It's just this warmness and understanding that make you so dear to everyone. I'm still patting myself on the back for being the first male to recognize your capacities for generosity and affection. No man knowing you, really knowing you, could have resisted you. That is why I say with conviction that I was the first guy to really know you. Knowing you enabled me to make of myself the guy for you. Catch? I'm sure I wasn't the guy you would have cared for before I met you. But as soon as I perceived that you were the gal for me, I became the boy you wanted the boy to be. This may sound very confused to you, but that's because I am putting it clumsily. The idea itself is very plain to me. You needn't remind me that you did some renovating and polishing on your own hook. That was just part of the general scheme to hook you. And yes, get hooked. Page 4. I was never so successful in any undertaking as I was in my courting of you, dear wifey, and never will be again. I'm so proud of this success that whatever happens, I'll be unable to count myself a total failure. I love you, my Ev. Come to think of it, my second important venture in life, conceiving Adele, was also eminently successful. But of course, it could never have happened if my first try didn't result as it did. You may claim a share of the credit for our perfectly perfect daughter. I guess you did have something to do in the matter of her conception. But don't forget for a minute that if it weren't for Phil, you wouldn't have Adele. So there now. Don't mind me, sweet. It's just the strong and coming out. I could think of a dozen different oh yes to that last crack myself, so don't bother. God bless and keep you both, my angels, for Daddy and hubby Phil. P.S. My love to all. P.P.S. Note new address.